Hello Chassos, how's it going? Jay here from Pantheon Studios. I am back from Uprising, and after just a little bit of a break, I am back to make content as before. Today's video, we're going to be going through secondaries, and this was sort of prompted from having a look at one of the Facebook pages, among some of the other content that I'm wanting to make, which will be coming in the very, very near future. This one I realized is a bit of prominent information because, and I do this with other, games and systems and whatever else, that when new updates come out, if you're not really plugged in to the game or the factions that you're playing or whatever else, it can sort of feel like you're looking at outdated information. And even though everything that's in my other secondary video is pretty well up to date, I just thought I would record this as a quick update so that people can watch that video, they can watch this video, and they can see really what changed, where the decision making is, and, really understand where Tau is in terms of how we score the game with some of the new updates. Before we get into any of that though, sponsor. This video is sponsored by Aussie Wargaming, who have an amazing website giving a massive 25% off all Games Workshop products. They're an Australian store, very, very passionate about 40k and Age of Sigmar and all the things associated with that. So if you're looking to pick yourself up a new army, we have World Eaters coming out soon. We have the meta changing with Arks of Omens. Jump onto their website, aussiewargaming.com.au, to get yourself an awesome deal and update that army. Head down the link in the description, check them out, and thank you very much, Aussie Wargaming, for sponsoring this video. Secondly, from myself, my Patreon is up and going and doing wonderfully, if I'm honest. We are about to give away the Operative Umbral 6, which closed at the end of January, but membership as part of the Patreon, there are going to be a ton of other giveaways. I managed to get an interview with this guy who had this beautiful Japanese Tau paint scheme and a diorama that he'd set up. There's a ton of behind the scenes pictures and everything else. Not to mention getting into the Pantheon Studios Australia Discord, where there is a ton of activity talking all things competitive Tau, and not just that, but even other competitive armies, how to beat Tau, and just a network of people that know their factions, know their armies, and are able to give out advice and general 40k play tips and becoming better. I'm also, as part of this, moving into the coaching sphere, which I never really thought I would be, but patrons get a discount off any coaching sessions, be it just general tactical roundtables, understanding how to play Tau, Grey Knights, Leagues of Atan, list building, all these different facets, as well as a network of people that I have which are best in faction, or at the very least top 3 in their faction in Australia, to give advice, learn how to build lists, learn how to play them, do all that sort of stuff. And if you watched any of my videos, you know that all of the information that I give explains the why, explains how to do things, and is really, really geared at making people better at the game. If you want to up your game and you want to get access to everything, or even get personal one-on-one time with me and have all of your questions answered, have a unique list built just for you based on the models that you own, head over to the link in the description and jump in the Patreon. It supports the channel, it grows us, and you get some awesome, awesome stuff in return. You could see now on screen all of my patrons, which contributes so massively to everything that I'm doing. They are upgrading the studio and my setup every single time that a new person joins, or they are there with me every single month. And also my Chassos, who I'll have their names on screen, but Jacob, Chris, Zach, and our newest Chasso, Jesse. You guys are amazing. To everybody, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for engaging with me and the studio and helping me build something. If you would like to join them, if you would like to join these people on screen, or have your name read out being a Chasso, then head over to the link, and I'll see you guys real soon. Okay, so with all the plugs out of the way, let's get into what has really changed for us. Now, because I've got another video which is detailing all this stuff, which generally has all of the base thoughts of why we take stuff, not a lot of that has changed, if anything. So I'm going to belt feed this a little bit and just kind of talk about why changes are the way that they are, and really give you a short, quick, dirty version of why we're going to take things. If you haven't seen the other video, I'll put a card just up in the top left or right, or whatever the hell YouTube does right now. Click over there. have a look at that video, either before you watch this one or after you watch this one, so that you've got some context and you know the why of what I'm saying. But let's get into it. So assassination still sits in trap category. Now, as I said in the previous video, you need to have an overabundance of characters. You need to know that they're going to have to use them to affect a win in the game, and that they're not going to have a really easy time just hiding them indefinitely or protecting them or whatever else. Now, this did get a little bit of a glow up with having troops units, armiger, or wardog class units gaining a command point. Because Tau lists generally have moved towards a meta of Fish of Fury supported by Riptides and Hammerheads and all that sort of stuff, you can get a bit more value out of this, but that additional command point, in my opinion, is not ever a reason to go, oh yes, I will take this over something that I may be able to score a little bit better. Actually, let me just zoom this in a bit. I want to make sure everybody's able to see it. So, assassination, if you have an overabundance and it's easy for you to get into, sure. But this one still sits in trap category for me. Bring it down, any vehicle or heavy monster lists, obviously it's fantastic. Into Knights, Chaos Knights, all that sort of stuff, it's an auto 15 for me, essentially. So I always go that. Moving down to No Mercy, No Respite. Grind is fine. Just make sure that you actually can do it each round. If one or more enemy units were destroyed by troops, again, this is something that we can do. It's a command point. It is a nice to have. It is not a reason to pick it over something which is going to more readily score you points, potentially max out, and win you the game off that. No prisoners, great against stuff like Necrons and, GSC with a lot of infantry units and bikes and whatever else, because obviously it only excludes vehicle monsters and characters. Can be good. Again, it's situational. Clean victory, again, situational. This one, because you have such a tight window of 3 turns to get your points, and it only caps out at 12, honestly, the Tau secondary should have been up to scoring 15s. Because if I score, say, 2 turns of this, and I get 10 points, that's still okay. That is still winnable. But when you're looking at 8 points, it becomes a harder sell, and then it can be even more punishing in that if you only get the first part of it, and you just get, like if you were getting 2 VP every time, sure, it sucks, it massively sucks, but at least you're getting something more than like 3 points for killing one enemy unit. Killing 3 or more has the side effect that you either have to do that, similar to Grind, making sure that you're ahead, but this one, making sure you get 3 full units. And the other side of it is that if you table your opponent super quickly, then you just don't score anything off this because you don't have 3 units on the board to be able to kill. So, clean victory, be careful with. If you feel really confident, go for it. If not, I don't think it's an auto. Moving into Warpcraft, sucks. Abhor the Witch is the only real exception, though it does kind of suck, in that you will get it when you play 1,000 Suns, which have fallen out of the meta a little bit. The upshot is the Grey Knights have gone up in value and have actually been seeing some tournament wins and, X and 1 or X and 0 places. So this one, you will see probably about as much play as we saw before, because 1,000 Suns were in the meta and now they're not, and now Grey Knights are in the meta and 1,000 Suns are. So Abhor is the same as it was before. You will not use it for 90% of your games unless you're in a very psycho-heavy meta, in which case I feel bad for you. But yeah, Abhor normally not going to take. So Battlefield Supremacy. This one is an interesting one, and the reason is that Decisive sits in here. Decisive action is basically an auto take for me. It is so easy to control. It is so easy to do with efficacy from me. Just holding half or more of the objectives on the board is so easy to do. It is ridiculously easy. If I'm on a 6 objective mission, I don't even have to contest to get more. If I've got 3, I'm good to go. If I'm on a 5 objective mission, we're probably going to be brawling for the center anyway. Or I'm going to be having some tricks to get onto an objective that's hard for him to get to, that's at the tail end of his deployment zone. So, Decisive for me is so good. Now, what changed here really? Behind enemy lines became much better. 3 victory points in your opponent's deployment zone, 4 victory points at the end of your turn instead of 2 or more units from your army, excluding aircraft, are wholly within. Now, this can become really easy to do when you have Fish of Fury with pre-game moves and whatever else in Montcar, where you're going to be shoving everything into their deployment zone anyway to try and kill and do whatever. It's probably going to take a couple of turns for them to clear out that many bodies, depending on how well you shoot. So this one can be really good. The other interesting part of it is, in addition, if one or more of those units is a troop unit, you gain 1 command point at the end of the current battle round. Now, notice from the wording, it doesn't say that those units, you only get this if that unit's alive at the end of the battle round. It says, score at the end of your turn if to 1 or 2 more units. In addition, if one or more of those units is a troops unit, you gain 1 command point at the end of the current battle round. So if you achieve it on your turn, it can't be denied, which is kind of nice, getting that command point. This one can be really, really good if you're super confident about that. Again, with how we're having to play the game, I don't think that this is going to be an auto, as some people have said that it might be. This is something that if I know I'm going to get aggressive, I'm going into something like Sisters or like Harlequins or something like that, and I'm pretty confident I'm going to be able to shove into their backfield, though Harlequins is a coin flip. If you're going into like Dark Sadath Harlequins, they will be in your deployment zone before you're in theirs. You must go first in order to have this score you points, which again is why decisive action is so good. You're choosing when to score it, Montcar or Cao Yun. It is so much efficacy. Engage in all fronts just became like a little bit easier to go with. If you're wholly within, each table quarter, the range reduces by half to be 3 inches away from any other table quarter, which is kind of good. So qualifying unit starting strength of 3 or more, or vehicle or monster, which is basically everything in our army. That can be okay. Again, it competes with decisive. I don't see a world where this one isn't better than all this stuff. I just wish that they bumped this up to being a 15. I really, really do. Then moving into shadow operations, banners is not usually something we want to take because we want everything to be shooting. If you're in a Fish of Fury list, you can't really do this turn 1 because even if you've got an ethereal with Storm of Fire and its data sheet ability to give out a perform an action and shoot, you're not bannering turn 1. You are either going to be like, you may, and you'll be hiding, but then if your breaches aren't really in their close range thing, which, really nothing else aside from commanders are going to be doing it anyway, and you can't target commanders with the ethereal ability, this one just loses so much value because you really want to get set up. And then the other side of it is that we don't have those really durable units that can sit on a banner's objective and hold it for long periods of time. So banners can be good if you think you're going to table your opponent super quickly. Even if you set these up turn 2, let's say you get 3, that across the last, you set it up and then you start scoring it from turn 3 onwards, you're getting 9 points by the end of turn 5, and then at the end of the battle, you're getting another 3 to go to 12. Now, if you just include 1 more in that and you've got 4 banners, then great. But I don't think with the style of list that we're going to, the idea that we are just going to table opponents every single time reliably is as much of a guarantee. When we were spamming a bunch of crisis suits that had plasmas and missile pods and all the way to fire that they've got, sure. But breaches just don't shoot as well as they do. They're good, don't get me wrong, but it's all damage 1 weaponry. Retrieve battlefield data, nothing really changed here. I don't think it's too fantastic. We're not really running a ton of deep strikers and that sort of stuff that can easily do it. Though, having said that, if you want to just sacrifice one of your breaches into the hardest quarter, which is the opponent's quarter, you can just shove it up, have them get out with combat debarkation, and then start the action. But I don't think that's worth it when you could just do aerospace targeting relays, where instead of getting a 12, you're getting a 15. Nothing changed with aerospace. Obviously, we've still got the Fire Warrior team, which is your Pathfinders, your breaches, and your strikes. They can do it, and this one is actually a very, very viable all-comer secondary objective. I don't think you take it every single game, but it will see a lot more play now that we're playing Fish of Fury a lot more. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the end of the secondaries. Like I said, not too much change from the other video. A lot of the reasoning for why we take things is still about the same, and there is a little bit more that we can consider taking, especially with the extra command points. We can be very, very CP hungry, But like I said, don't take one of these because you can get a command point because you got breaches. Generally speaking, our breaches are a one and done sort of unit. We move them forward, we pile them out, and we don't expect them to live after that turn. If they do, great. That's fantastic. But they are a paper unit. They're not something that sticks around. They're not doing fire and fade shenanigans like the Riptides, Crisis, or whatever else. So there are a couple of things that are a nice to have, but nothing that's really going to alter our decision making. Most of it will just come down to what can we score reliably, what can we do without our opponent really disrupting that much. And as you'll see, a lot of it is looking at a game. I'm pretty sure most of mine are just going to consist of decisive action, aerospace targeting relays, and then a kill secondary. And if I can't get a kill secondary, then I'll probably be looking at maybe a clean victory if I'm desperate, no prisoners if they give me that, and then maybe even just grind, because I don't really like the idea of it. If I have to go grind or I have to go assassinate, grind wins almost every single time, because I can play very defensive, just kill one unit, and then stop them from seeing any of my stuff. But yeah, let me know what you think. Give me your thoughts down in the comments. Thank you to all of the people that have been supporting me so far. It's crazy how much I've been able to do coaching stuff, do just my patron related things, giving them exclusive content and that sort of thing. It feels really, really nice. For me, it's weird to say, and it kind of feels like ego, but it's genuinely not coming from me. But having people that genuinely enjoy hearing your opinion on things that you're very passionate about, it just feels really nice. It feels really, really nice. So thank you to everybody. If you're interested in getting coaching, just locking in with the community and getting to know some other passionate Tau people from around the world, seeing what's going on with me, getting these videos 24 hours early, all the extra stuff that comes with this. And bear in mind, people of my Chasseau tier, they get a free coaching session every single month on whatever topic that they want, be it build a list, be it tactical roundtables, just using the terrain behind me with the camera just pointing at them. Yeah. There's a lot to sink your teeth into in the Patreon. There's so much more coming. And I absolutely promise that for every single month that I have somebody in my Patreon, I will make sure that they get as much value out of it as possible. So thank you to everybody. Thank you to Aussie Wargaming. And I'll see you guys in the next video.